So you're thinking about moving to Southwest Florida? In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Southwest Florida.
And if you stick around to the end, we're going to tell you what we like the least about living in Southwest Florida. This is what we really, really dislike. And it's not going to be what you think it is. So stick around to the end because you're not going to want to miss that. To this channel and you want to learn everything about living in Southwest Florida, particularly Naples
and the surrounding areas,
then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the current market in Southwest Florida.
Hey, I'm Emily and this is Tamara. Us and our team get calls and emails every day from people just like you looking for help on making their move to Southwest Florida, and we absolutely love it.
We do. So if you're making a move in 7 days or 7 months, please don't be shy to call, text or email us. All our information is in the description below so that we can help you make a smooth move to Southwest Florida.
So as we mentioned, we are talking about the pros and cons of living in Southwest Florida, and we're going to begin with one of Tamara's favorites.
The beautiful plant life. I love it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I can say is that it's evergreen. We lived in Colorado before we came to Florida, and that's the one thing that, you know, I was even used to from South Africa, where in the winter things are brown and dry and can look very depressing. And here it's just super green, super bright all year round. I love that. And then secondly, it's tropical. So you see plants, flowers, trees here that you don't find everywhere in the world. I love that. Right. Sometimes it's like we're in the movie Avatar. The plants and flowers that we see are just phenomenal. So bright, they don't even look real. Which takes me to a story that I must share. It's a funny one. It was a couple of months after we'd moved to Florida. I was, walking out my front door in the morning to take the kids to school and found this really weird, bizarre, bright, super bright, intensely bright, coral-colored ball cage thing. It was really weird. I didn't know what it was, and it was around Halloween. I was looking around at my neighbors and thinking, did somebody do a prank here and make me think that the aliens have finally landed and this is like an alien egg? Because this did not look real at all. I was telling my 2 nephews back in South Africa about it, and they put the image on Google or whatever, when you do the image thing, I don't know how to do that, and they came up with, okay, this is a fungus in Florida. It's known as a basket stinghorn, or also the red cage. And yeah, it was really weird. So I was so happy to hear that it was real. It was something, so it wasn't some prank. And after a couple of days, it just shriveled up and like disintegrated. But that was really weird. And some people haven't even heard of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just love all the plants, all the flowers, all the trees. Sometimes I don't know what I prefer when I'm driving along a road. There's just beautiful trees and beautiful homes. Like, what do I prefer, the trees or the homes? It's just, it's beautiful. I can honestly say that I can't be happier about the scenery. Yeah. So the next pro on our list is the really abundant animal life.
Yeah, so what's really cool about living here in Florida is there is all manner of every type of mammal and reptile and sea life that you can experience. I wrote a list here. We have lizards, iguanas, fish, turtles, lots of bird species, alligators, snakes, bobcats, panthers, flamingos, even bears, squirrels, all that stuff. So just being in the tropics, there's just, everything grows, and then all the animals thrive and live,
I didn't expect bears in Florida.
Oh yeah, I know. I was surprised. Yeah. We have the Naples Zoo here, which is really awesome. I've been there with my children several times, and they have this cool boat ride. You can go around, yeah, like with a tour guide and everything. And if you're a Collier County resident, that's the county Naples is in, they do free admission for the first Saturday of every month. So that's just a cool tip. Yeah. So the animals maybe could be a con, for some people. Personally, I've actually never seen a panther or a bear. With my own eyes, since I've been here, I've only had to deal with like a few like little small non-venomous snakes. There's just a funny story real quick. My pool light is like a box with a switch. I mean, when you go to switch it on, it's on this pole and there's a cover, and so every time we go to turn it on, we have to be really careful. This little snake likes to come and live in that space. I don't even know why it's so weird. I don't even know how it gets there, but it's just funny, you know, and it's never bit us or anything. So something, you know. And I think the thing to keep in mind is that, you know, anywhere in North America or wherever you're coming from has its own, you know, animals or whatever that you have to deal with, and you just learn how to deal with it there. And I feel like it's the same thing here, you know, like you just be mindful, you know, and also a good tip too that someone told me when we moved here is just make sure, you know, with the landscaping, because it rains so much and everything, like just make sure to just like cut your grass and like keep up on it so you can see snakes and you can, you know, see out on your property and everything. So yeah, it can be a really awesome thing.
So our third pro is the weather. It's sunny and bright all year round. I mean, that's why a lot of people move here. And the snowbirds have second homes here in Florida because of this. Another point is the water temperature. Being on the Gulf, it's several degrees warmer than on the east coast of Florida. So one can actually swim all year round in the ocean. That's a big bonus.
Right, yeah. And so this could be a con for some people is the humidity. So, but some people like humidity. When I first arrived, you know, people told me like, it's okay, you're gonna get used to humidity. And I can say that I am more used to it now. You know, I am personally grew up in California, and where it is hot, but it's a dry heat, which is totally different, you know. But it's okay. I'm getting used to it, you know. And for the ladies, something to think about, you know, is the humidity is super great for our skin. So, you know, that's a pro.
That's a big bonus.
When we first got here, we had moved here from a especially cold state, and it was like November, and we got up early to take the kids to school, and it was, you know, it was dawn, you know, or just barely bright outside, and it was cloudy because it rains here a lot. And it looked really gloomy, but when we walked outside with the kids, we were like, whoa, it's in the 70s. Like, it was so nice. And my children were commenting like, wow, like I can do this, you know, like it's warm. It was a lot easier to get going. To school. Yes. It's just that it's warmer in the morning, you know, so like that's just something cool, you know, that happened. And then the other thing is in the summer, it rains almost every afternoon. And I really like it. Some people really don't like it, you know. Yeah, but I think it's really nice, again, being from California, where you might have 8 months and there's no rain, you know, they're in a drought, you know, so I really appreciate the rain. And it's a nice break, you know, from the day. It's really sunny, you know, and then the clouds come in, the temperature drops, and then you just have a torrential downpour usually, you know.
It's not fun to drive in that.
Yeah, it's not great,
but just if you're home and you're listening to that or at work, it's so beautiful. That's one of the big things that I missed about South Africa. You know, Johannesburg, where I'm from, is it really poured down for hours, and you'd hear like torrential pour for hours. And in Colorado, it wasn't the case. It would rain for like 5 minutes, really mild. So I miss that a lot about where I'm from, and I love that about Florida.
Yeah, and I've never lived up north, and but I've talked to other people. I'm talking about the northeast of the United States, and they all say like, it's humid where I'm from too, but at least in Florida, there's usually a breeze, you know, from the beach. So especially when you're on the beach, you know, there's usually a breeze, and that can, you know, give us some relief. So yeah, so it can be a pro and a con, you know, but I feel like it's mostly a pro, you know.
Definitely.
So our fourth pro is the financial benefits of living in Southwest Florida.
So the first point is no individual state income tax. That's a big one. That's a big one. Property taxes are also lower than a lot of states up north. Approximately 1.25% on appraised value is what you'll pay in Collier County for property taxes, and a little bit lower in Lee County, about 1.15% on appraised value. But if you want to know, if you're curious about a home, what the taxes were in the previous year, just email us the address and we'll look it up for you. We'll let you know what we can find for you. Then so on the property taxes, like we said, a lot lower than a lot of states up north. Definitely very much lower than California. Also, you can homestead your home. That's, you know, with regards to saving some property taxes on that. It has to be your primary residence. You're not going to save an enormous amount of money, but every little bit does help.
Yeah.
Then regards to the cost of homes, firstly, definitely cheaper this side of the West Coast. If we look at the whole of the West Coast, as opposed to the East Coast, because we were looking at moving to Fort Lauderdale or Miami when we first moved from Colorado to Florida. And I can tell you this is definitely the more affordable side, unless you're living right on the coast or in the heart of old Naples, obviously. But between Naples, Bonita Springs, Estero, Fort Myers, even Cape Coral, you have so much more affordability, and definitely compared with a lot of states up north. I've got here, New York, Washington, Oregon, Massachusetts, Hawaii, California again. I think there might be some people from California that realize how beneficial it is living in Florida. You've got family in California, Emily?
Oh yeah, I have family in the Bay Area around San Francisco, and they have a home that's built in the 1920s. It's under 1,000 square feet, like 2-bedroom, 1 bath. There's no view. There's not an HOA, and it's like just under $1 million, and yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
If you're interested in looking at more specific numbers of looking at the median home prices of the different states, we'll put it in the description below. We'll put worldpopulationreview.com, a link to that. You can look at the different states and see, just compare the prices of homes. And then also, obviously, the real estate market has done really well. We're hoping and anticipating for that, to continue. So huge appreciation. We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know if that is going to continue, but it's been a really awesome market to be in Florida. And our economy is booming in general. Lots of job opportunities and just a booming economy. It seems like a lot of people want to be in Florida right now.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Then our tertiary education is also a lot more affordable than many colleges and universities in a lot of the states, specifically up north again, where it seems to be more pricey. And that takes us to our 5th pro on the list, which is education.
Yes. So here in Southwest Florida, there's a great variety of school choice for your children. There are lots of A-rated schools between Naples and Bonita Springs. There's public, private, charter schools. There's lots of homeschool groups for the homeschool people. You can go on Facebook. There's the homeschool moms are always really good about, forming groups for field trips and just general, other kids to hang out with and stuff, and for the older children, there's lots of universities and colleges nearby.
There's FGCU, our lovely local college here, university, Florida Gulf Coast University. It's awesome, and it's super affordable from what I've heard. I've got some friends whose kids go there. And then I know this is like way further. Yeah. This is in Orlando, but we've got UCF, University of Central Florida. That is got an excellent reputation, and I know many people whose children go there. They're super happy. So yeah, lots of that. And that actually, I must mention with that, one of the big reasons that we looked at moving from Colorado to Florida, because it's the only state that offers this. It's called Bright Futures, and it's a program where the state can pay 75% or 100% of college tuition. It's based, it's based on the children's SAT or ACT test scores. So either they don't qualify at all if they obviously didn't score, above a certain amount, or they can get 75% or even 100% off college tuition. So if you've got super academic kids and you want to save money on college tuition, this is the place to be.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Our next pro, number 6, is the variety of homes.
Yes, from modern high-rise buildings to beach homes on stilts, we have all styles, all size homes, and all price ranges. Something for everyone. Talking about styles, we have quite a few. I've got a list here, official list. Mediterranean, Spanish, we've got Victorian, ranch for you. Coastal and contemporary are very popular in Old Naples, and I love that because that's not something that I saw. I didn't see a lot of coastal style homes in Colorado. And we even have French West Indies style. There's one home in Port Royal in the 30 million, just below 30 millions. Below 30 minutes, make it sound less. It's gorgeous, and I love that style as well. So lots of different styles. when we were looking at Texas, Dallas, Texas, we're looking in the Plano area. We have really good friends there. Hi, Lada. And we were looking there, and as lovely as it is, and as lovely as the people are and everything, what I didn't enjoy, which I did tell my friend, I didn't enjoy that the homes just seem to all look the same. They're very large homes, which is awesome because you get a really great value for money there. But they just seem to me like generally looking all the same. And here, even our small suburbs and areas, there's a whole mix of homes. There's not one area that everything looks the same. So I like that. I like that about Naples and Bonita Springs. Size homes, we've got tiny condos, like under 1,000 square feet, some even like 600 square feet, tiny condos, to as big as 18,000 square feet. Wow. I know that's not very common, but that's as big as we've seen them. Size of lots, less than a quarter of a lot for a small home, up to about 5 acres in Golden Gate Estates. So there, you can get a lot of value for money in terms of acreage and size lots. Different communities, we have tons of different communities. Golf, obviously, really big. There's a lot of golf communities here, and we'll have to do a video on golf communities because there's so many. Tennis, pickleball, there's boating communities, there's a lot of 55 plus communities, older homes, and then a lot of new construction, especially if you go more east. You get tons of new construction. But even in Naples, we have a fair amount of new construction. So we definitely have to do a video on that as well. Yeah. Price ranges. You can get condos really tiny, really tiny, like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom condos, as close as 5 miles to the beach, under $200,000. There's one at the moment for $167,000. By 5 miles from the beach, it's in a 55 plus community. So 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. But you get condos up to $10 million.
Yeah.
for in Naples, and then single family homes from the very low 300,000s, even in the 200,000s if it needs a ton of work. You can get something in Naples Manor, in Golden Gate Estates or Golden Gate City. It will need a lot of work, but in the low 200-300s you can get something like that. Up to 65 million in like Port Royal.
Wow.
We've seen those being sold. So at the moment, this is just an interesting fact. In Old Naples, it's the most expensive home currently on the market. I know this changes on a daily basis, but at the time of shooting this video, the most expensive home currently on the market in Naples is in Old Naples, and that's going for just under $40 million.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you're curious about that, let us know. We'll give you more information on that home.
For sure.
Okay, our next pro, number 7, is lots to do.
Yes, there's lots of activities to do here. There's not a dull moment. Of course, it's not the big city, but you can always find stuff going on, music, sports, just whatever, boating, fishing, kayaking, jet skiing, going to the beach, going on walks. I see the groups of people in their bike touring, whatever, biking, around and everything. They've got trails.
Also parasailing.
Parasailing. I don't know what else I'm missing. Fishing, that's super huge. I've not done this yet, but I've heard of a boating company that will take you, and then you scuba dive and you can catch your lunch or your dinner, Of course, there's the sports. There's sports going on in the universities. Hockey, that surprised me actually. Volleyball, basketball. You can go see them play. And then, of course, for the younger children, they've got the regular sports going on in the schools. You can see, and there's lots of city leagues. And
also soccer is quite a bigger thing here than in a lot of other states.
Yes.
For kids.
Yeah, a lot of soccer going on, and then. What was the story about the people going to see the turtles?
Oh yes, that was in Pelican Landing, one of the communities in Bonita Springs. They go, it's the residents. They go on a boat to Hickory Island, and they actually look after the turtles. They help get them to the water when they're hatched. So they do that regularly. That's awesome. I want to join that.
Yeah, that would be fun to see. Also, there's this sunset cruise you can go on with your partner. You can go out on the water, and they do food and music.
Farmers markets.
Oh yeah, yes, farmers markets everywhere. Some year round, up in Benita Springs and down in Naples, like anything, music, food, pasta, cheese, flowers, beef, just so many things to do, so there's not a dull moment.
No, lots of parades, like 4th of July, 4th of July, Halloween, Christmas, lighting of Christmas trees, like in any other place. They're just awesome. Lots to do, lots for kids.
Yeah, it's just a great place to live. We live here. We really like it. Like I just think the town is awesome. It's quieter than a big city, but there's still stuff going on, and it's just a really.
And 5th Avenue at night.
Yes,
it doesn't stop till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So if you're a party girl, yes, I mean it's not like it's all over the place. We have the little spots, little areas where you can really be out. Till late if you want to. It's not like Miami. You're going to be a bit bored if you're used to full-on city life in Miami. But there's lots to do. Number 9 on our pros list is something important to me. Amazing shopping, really is. First we'll start off in Old Naples. It's one of my favorite areas. 5th Avenue and 3rd Street, you have to check those out. Lots of shops. We spoke about in a previous point that there's a lot of art galleries, so you can get some really cool art. But there's other stuff too. There's coastal decor. It's also boutiques, clothing, shoes, all of that. Even kitchen and bath stuff. There's a bit of everything in Old Naples. There's also Naples Bayfront, Mercato, which has got lots of shops and restaurants. Village on Venetian Bay, also very quaint shopping center and cool. Close to Naples Bayfront, you can find Tin City. I love Tin City. When I first moved to Florida, people were like, well, that's a tourist trap. I feel like that sounds like a negative term, and I don't feel it's negative at all. I don't feel it was overpriced or too much of a tourist trap. I love it. Even now that I'm not a tourist anymore in Naples, I still like going there. It kind of feels like you're in a boat when you're walking in Tin City. Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, there's just wood from like the floors all the way to the ceiling.
Yeah. So Tin City is awesome. I know it was affected by the hurricane with some flooding, but they are reopening. They are reopening building 1 this weekend, and they are working on the other buildings on getting that all back up and running. My 2 favorite stores in Tin City are owned by a fellow South African. She's got Annalise, which has got bags, hats, and beachwear. And jewelry, some really cool jewelry. And then her decor shop is called Arte Decoro, which means crafts from my heart. And that's got crafts and art from a few places, from Germany to parts of Africa and Peru. Really cool. You must go check it out. Strip malls. This is a big one. They're found all over Naples. And Bonita and Estero, but mainly Naples. My favorite strip mall, I'm going to be honest with you right here, is Coconut Point. I love Coconut Point because it's got all your big name brands and your fancy shops. Michael Kors, Victoria's Secret. You've also got West Elm, which is a really cool decor shop. Sephora. You've got. It's really got good clothing, shoes, bags, watches, things like that. But then you've also got all your regular stores too: Target, TJ Maxx, Michaels, Best Buy. You've got everything. You've got a lot of restaurants, coffee shops. You even have a movie theater there, and it's got that vibey. But it's vibey, but it's also very tropical, and it's outdoors. So I mean, you don't want to go there in the hottest part of the day in summer. Then you'd rather go to a mall. I mean, I don't really like malls as much, but you don't mind malls. Which is the mall you go to?
Oh. Yeah, I go shopping with my girls down at the Coastland Center. So this is just my opinion, but I feel like a lot of malls in America are kind of dying. But when you go in this mall, it is not dead. There are so many people, so many shops. It's a huge place. Of course, they have all the big, JCPenney, Macy's, Dillard's, all the big stuff, and then all the little shops like you normally see everywhere, but just there's such high energy and a huge food court and people selling stuff down the middles of everything, and it's really fun. Yeah, we like to go there. And something funny, when I first moved here, I was there in the morning for some reason, and I noticed all these retirees in their workout clothes walking I'd see them walk by, and then I'd be, whatever, hanging out, and then I'd see them walk by again, and I realized they were groups of people, like, getting their steps in. Like, I was like, that's super smart. It was still really hot when we first moved here, so that was cool to see.
Using the AC and getting all their steps done.
Yeah.
That's cool. We also have Gulf Coast Town Center, which is a nice center, lots of restaurants. You've got a Costco there. There's AR Workshop, which I've gone to with my kids several times to make really cool crafts that's for the home and to give away as gifts. And then we must end off by telling you, if you do like a good bargain, you need to get to Miramar Outlets. There's, I think, nearly 100 stores there. You get your big name brands and some things for like 2 for 1, really good pricing. You like that place?
Yeah, it's really cool. There's these really cool fountains. They're really beautiful, actually, outside, and they're filled with koi fish and turtles. And if you're tired, or maybe you're in a group of people and you don't want to keep shopping, just let your friends shop, and you can hang out outside and then just enjoy the water and the fish and the turtles.
Yes. Okay, pro number 10 on our list is a safer place to live. Well, it depends where you're comparing it to, but I came from Johannesburg, South Africa, so compared to that, it's like day and night. I feel completely much safer. Driving around at night is not an issue to me, and that was always, for me, Johannesburg was always a big concern. But then even within America, like I did quite a bit of research, and especially when we made the decision to move from Colorado, when we were deciding where to move, I did some research about crime stats. I can't remember all the figures and all the data, but what we'd like to do is just put a link in the description below for you to be able to do your own crime information research. So please do that if you are thinking of moving to Florida. But I know we've had clients come from New York, from Boston, Chicago, Illinois, and they all are saying that they are moving here because that is one of the big components, is just feeling a lot safer.
Yeah, and Florida is super tough on crime, really big on upholding the rule of law, big laws on Second Amendment rights. For example, like after Hurricane Ian, Governor DeSantis was pretty clear on what would happen to criminals if they were looting during that vulnerable time. Personally, for me as a female, I go out, shop, go to the grocery store day or night, and I feel really safe to do that. And that's me coming from California.
Yeah.
And in those big cities, I would not do that, but I feel comfortable doing that here. Also, we have Statute 119, where anyone can go into a sheriff's office and get an official crime report on any neighborhood. So that is your right. You're allowed to do that. So that's something also that you can look into and do your own research.
Please do that.
Okay, our Pro 11 is the rich culture of people and food.
This I love. On Fifth Avenue, I get to meet a lot of people from all over the world, a lot of Europeans, a lot of tourists. Just people. It's a very global. It's a melting pot of culture, food, really good food, really good coffee. Funnily enough, this is a thing that we didn't find in Colorado. There was not a lot of good coffee, and that was a big deal to me and my husband. Here, you know that just about anywhere you go, you're going to get amazing coffee. It's Cuban, Colombian, Italian. It's going to be good coffee. It's very rare for you not to find good coffee. Restaurants, I know, most places in the States, but here in particular, I feel there's a lot of culture, a lot of good restaurants. A ton of Italian restaurants, fine, that's all over the world, but in Old Naples, downtown Naples, you get authentic Italian food. I mean, even the waiters there are Italian. They speak Italian. I know, because I come from an Italian family, and I do understand what they're saying and what all the things mean when they announce the specials. It's authentic, but you also get Mexican, obviously, all over in the States. You get other things too, Cuban, Peruvian, Turkish, Jamaican. You mentioned that. Japanese, Thai, and all of that. Amazing Indian restaurants too. Just amazing food, amazing coffee, amazing people. I love that it's a rich culture of people, and I find that even more so, way more so than there was in Colorado. And we have a lot of that in South Africa too. So I've always loved that, and that feels more homely to me, when I'm around more different cultures. Okay, our last point on our pros list, number 12, is a big one too. They're all very big ones, but happy people. I have traveled a fair amount in the US and actually elsewhere, and I can say with confidence that there's a lot of happy people, a lot of happy people. I don't know if it's the weather, that the sun is shining all the time and there's no snow. It's just great weather overall. So it's the sun, or if it's the palm trees, you're driving and it's just one palm tree after the other. It's kind of hard to be miserable when you see one palm tree after the other. Well, for me and all the greenery, it's hard. Yeah, I just feel that the weather and the surroundings of being, in evergreen greenery all year round, that all helps. Also, I feel that a lot of people who have their second homes here, they are escaping something that, it's usually the weather. They're escaping the snow. And I think they feel like more in vacation mode when they're here. So they're very happy. A lot of retirees are here in Naples, and it was mainly known for retirees in Naples. We were talking about that earlier in the video. Not so much the case, it's getting younger and younger as well as still having the retirees. But people who are at the stage in their lives where they are ready to retire, they're generally more relaxed too. So I think that's got to do with it. Another last point to make, I guess, is that Florida is being called the Free State. So if that's one reason for you to be happy, that was a big one for us. 2021 was a tough year for us in Colorado, where a lot of shops, restaurants, businesses closed down. Our kids' school was closed for in-person, tuition for the entire year. So I had both kids home the entire year, and that meant I was home because my little one was struggling a little bit with a few concepts online and just, dealing with the Zoom and not having the social interaction. So that was tough for me. That was one of the big reasons we moved here. We just, it's a happy, free state, and I feel very happy we made that decision. Okay, now we're on our cons list, and the first one being the weather. As beautiful as it is, usually all year round with a little bit of humidity, not so great, but other than that, it's all good, except obviously the possibility of having hurricanes.
Yes. We just lived through our first hurricane, which was Hurricane Ian. The Floridians around here told us that we've finally been initiated. Thankfully, neither of us are right on the water where most of the damage was and the flooding. I didn't even lose power miraculously. Sounds like you did.
I did for 4 days. Kind of reminded me of being back at home in South Africa. So I was fine. I was used to it. So yeah, that was it really. We're very lucky. But a lot of people obviously had major problems. Some people even lost their homes entirely. And a lot of people will be rebuilding and recovering for a long, long time. So our hearts go out to them.
Yes, and thankfully, hurricanes, you have plenty of time. We had like a week and a half of notice. We talked to a lot of locals. This is just our personal experience, and everyone said, it'll just be a bad rainstorm, and then that's not what happened. So you have lots of time to prepare. You can evacuate.
I think a lot of people didn't take this one seriously, but I think they will now from now on. And we weren't expecting it to hit here, expecting it to hit further north, Tampa.
Yeah, it changed at the last second.
So I think in future, just a good call would be always take it seriously, and also take all the warnings seriously and do everything you can to prepare in advance. And our last point on this is also talking about if you've got a second home here in Southwest Florida, just make sure that you either have a home watching company or friends or neighbors, look out for you. Make sure that things like your AC level are always correct. You don't want to be stuck in a position where your AC hasn't been working for like 2-3 weeks and suddenly you have a mold problem. That's quite serious. So that's something to consider if you have a second home. Just have somebody look out for you.
Yes, and the last thing also, second last thing, is if you are worried about this, they have changed the building codes in the early 2000s, so the homes are stronger. You have to build them up higher, so for flooding. So that's just something, if you worry about it, you can look at new construction and newer homes to buy.
Absolutely.
Okay, con number 2 is the traffic in season. So what we mean by in season means when the snowbirds are here in winter. So it can be kind of between October to May, November to April, May.
More November.
Yeah, it just depends. And especially after the hurricane, it came even earlier. There's lots of contractors around. And I am not from the big city, so I was not used to this. Everyone says, it's okay, Emily, at least you don't live in Miami. But for me, it still feels like a lot. And like Tamara was saying in the other video, there's lots of vacationers and they're happy and they're on vacation, but we're not on vacation. We're trying to get to work and we're trying to get to school, and it can just take longer. So of course we have our GPS you can quick put in wherever you're going and time manage, you know, so it could just be frustrating, and that's a con for me. But maybe that's not a big deal to other people.
Look, I was used to bad traffic in Johannesburg. It was quite heavy. So for me, it's not such a big deal, but you're from a quieter place, so I get it.
Yeah, and you can try to leave during the day. The traffic's not as bad during regular times, it's just rush hour, but you have to be on there to take care of your kids. So that is a con for me.
True. Okay, point number 3 on our cons list is the flat landscape. So even though we have greenery all year round, which is beautiful, and so many trees, so many variety of trees, and like I said earlier, it's very hard to be sad when you see one palm tree after another palm tree after another, but you don't have mountain views. So if you do, you know, absolutely love that about where you live, you might really miss that. I do kind of miss that from Colorado, but at the same time, if you're really craving mountains or you're craving the snow, you can always get away and go visit family or friends that have that kind of view. But otherwise, so we don't have mountains. But as I said, we've got a lot of greenery and it is beautiful. And I'm not sure if that's a big deal to you, but it's not even a big deal to us.
Con number 4 on our list is the lack of season change. So we kind of have like 2 seasons, sort of. It's like summer and spring. And it's not even spring probably as bad as it is like in other places, you know. So if you really like having the 4 seasons, maybe this is not the place to be. Then there are other options. You can always go up north. The people who snowbird here, some of them come down after Christmas or New Year's, so they get that little bit of winter time, and then they come and enjoy the weather till the spring. So that's an option too, but I think it could be, if you feel sad about only seeing sun, then it could be a con.
Yeah, I thought I would miss a season change, and I do a little bit, but not that much. So we've got to number 5 on our cons list, what we really dislike about living in Southwest Florida. The worst thing. The Florida man! Just kidding. You gotta look that up.
The bugs, I'm not scared of bugs, that's not what it's about. They love to eat me. And we're in this tropical environment, and everything grows really big, huge ants, you know, whatever, cockroaches and spiders. Yes.
Fire ants, I got bitten by those recently.
Yes, I really had to change how I think, how I dress. They just like to eat me. I usually in the summer, it's worse. Thankfully, they do spray for the mosquitoes often, so that keeps it down some. But I've just learned to, during dusk, I do not go out. If I'm going to be out, I cover completely.
Just use that cream I gave you. That really works.
All right. There's things you can do, bug spray, you know. It's just a big deal. So one time I got bit on my foot, actually several different times, but because it was my foot, it swelled so bad. I couldn't walk, I couldn't go to work, couldn't put my foot in my shoe. So it's like debilitating for me. So that is the worst thing that I do not like about Florida.
And it's not everyone.
Right.
You're a bit of an alien.
Oh. Yeah. But the other day, a couple weeks ago, I was at the Naples Botanical Gardens, and currently this is being filmed in wintertime, and I was minding my own business, and then all of a sudden I got bit a bunch of times. So for me, this is a really big con I'm trying to work through to get better at not getting bit. So if that's not a big deal for you, then maybe Florida is the great place to move, and you should come and get a hold of us and we'll help you.
Yes, we will.
So thank you so much for watching our video. Thank you if you watched the whole thing. Please leave comments down below and let us know what you would like to hear more about. And we hope to show you around town.
Yes, please like or share this video, as Emily said, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye.